So ADA is currently on a downtrend since the previous update, where I mentioned how I was tracking a correction to the upside made up of a WX Y structure, and this Y wave had the potential to reach anywhere between around 29 to 30 cents. And in that update, I mentioned how I was tracking a 5-wave move to form the Y wave, given that we had this impulsive move that played out. And during the time of recording, I was tracking the wave 4. So if I just drop down to the hourly chart, I mentioned how this wave 4 was going to be made up of a WXY structure, and it had the potential to reach anywhere between around 27 to 28 cents. And it looks like we just about fell short of that range, which is fine given that we did meet the minimum requirement for the Y wave, which is the 61.8% retrace level. And so following the completion of this correction to form the wave 4, we then saw the 5th wave play out, which would typically reach anywhere between 1.226 to 1.618 of the wave 4. So bringing in the fib tool, what you can see is we ended up getting rejected at the 1.236 level. And that was then followed by a reversal, where we then breached below the wave W at 28.16 cents, as you can see. And that then further confirmed that we ended up completing this whole move to the upside. And so given that we ended up completing this whole move to the upside, ADA can now go one of two ways, with, of course, one of which being bullish and one of which being bearish. And the bullish case would be for the price of ADA to find support within the 50 to 80.2% retracement level of this whole move to the upside. And so bringing in the fib tool, what we need is for ADA to find support between this range between 25.12 cents to 26.95 cents. And we have managed to tap into that range. And you can also see that a buy order, which is shaded in blue, sits within this range. And given that we are within the oversold conditions, I will be looking out for the bulls to regain control of the market, and it will be interesting to see if they can drive the price of it up towards higher highs, where we then break above the local top at 29.55 cents. And if that's the case, that then confirmed that what we are forming is a bigger 3-wave move to the upside, like so. And this Y wave would then have the potential to break above this level here, which then further confirmed that we're bullish, and we could then see this Y wave play out. And as you guys know, over the past week or so, I mentioned how I was tracking a bigger 3-wave move to the upside. And so short term, this region is going to be key in determining if whether or not we are bullish or bearish. If we find support within this range, we could then see a bigger 3-wave move play out to the upside. However, if it just happens that we breach below the 18.2% retracement level, that would then confirm that we're bearish, and we could see a deeper move to the downside form on ADA. And it will be highly likely that we'll then break below the local bottom at 24.58 cents. And should that be the case, that would also further confirm that we have a deeper correction forming made up of a bigger WXY structure. And this Y wave would also have the potential to break below this level here, which would also signal that we are even more bearish, and we could see a deep move to the downside. We could then tap into this range here. And so, yeah, short term, this range will be key in determining if whether or not we are bullish or bearish. And given that on the 4-hour chart, we are within the oversold conditions, we could potentially see a reversal to the upside over the next couple of hours or few hours, or the time will tell. And so another key region to be keeping an eye on in the short term will be this range here. And yeah, if it just happens that we get rejected at the 50, 20, and 200 EMA level, that would of course signal that we're bearish, and we could see a continuation to the downside. And looking at the 8-hour chart, again, we are within the oversold conditions, and so ideally, would like ADA to find support within this range and see that reversal to the upside, where we then see a bigger WXY structure form. And assuming that we are bullish and we could have bottomed out over here, what I'll do is I'll set out the Y wave target, which would typically reach anywhere between 1 to 1.236 of the W wave, and that range sits between around 31.56 cents to 32.96 cents. And the bearish case would be for ADA to breach below this region here, and at the same time break below this level to confirm that we have a deeper correction forming made up of a bigger WXY structure. And so bringing in the fib tool, bringing this to 29.55 cents. So what we could see is ADA tap into this range between 21.86 cents to 23.16 cents, or this range here.